Hello, podcast listeners. Thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of Sloss and Humphries on the road. When we are not on the road, we are in the studio still. If you're watching at home, do you appreciate the fact that we now actually have our own merch? Huh? Look at this. Look, mugs. You can buy these. You can buy this. You can buy this. Isn't that amazing? Just slowly, incrementally increasing the production value of this massive piece of shit, which we're very grateful that you still tune in for. It's kind of like a reunion episode. Me and Kai haven't done this in a while. He's been doing it with other people. I've been doing it with other people. But like two forlorn lovers, we've come back to give you content about how Kai turned into a bloody fucking mess. We speak about comedy towards the end. Just to give you a heads up, if you don't want any spoilers to my current show, Can't, then skip like the last 5 minutes of this episode because I talk about some of the material in it. Don't really do any of the punchlines, but it basically touches on some of the topics and stuff, and I understand that can be a bit of a spoiler for some people. We do give you a heads up, so just turn off then. Thank you very much for listening and your support. Thank you for coming to all of our shows during the Fringe. If you are in New York, so am I. Please come and see me live. And we are also adding in some European dates for later on in the year. So if you're in Lithuania or Croatia or Slovenia, Slovakia, keep an eye out for those. Australia will be announced soon. That's going to be from March to April next year for me, with some New Zealand dates in there, and hopefully some Singapore ones too. Apart from that, tune in, enjoy, and we'll see you on the Patreon episode if you're fucking cool. Sloss and Humphries on the road.
Muggins and cream and muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
That's our intro.
Fucking muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head that makes you laugh.
They've got both of their sons back, Daniel. It's been like they've had custody of each other. Like you've been on with Ryan.
Yeah.
I've been on with John and Ryan.
Yeah. I was on with Adam.
You on with Adam.
Uh-huh.
It's actually the first one in like 4 podcasts where they've got to spend time together. It's like what dads are having a little bit of a fucking break, isn't it?
But we've clearly been to like 2 separate summer camps, phoning back, being like, "Oh, and Daniel, how are you getting on?"
But we don't even know that the whole round. They've managed to keep it from her.
Oh, so we've come back to a divorce.
Now we've come back and they're patching it back up. Can you not hear them shagging? that's them shagging. I'll 130 of what dads having a massive orgy.
So how many Patreons we've got?
No, that's how many dads we've got. Thereabouts.
Right, okay.
It changes, you know. People alternate. People dip in and out.
Yeah, depending on my opinions on Johnny Depp at the time. That still makes me laugh so much. Of all the controversial opinions I've had, and one that I did research on.
You know what makes us laugh the most, right? Is I didn't notice it until recently, but you know how all of the videos go out on YouTube, right? But only some of them go live. Like half of them are private because they're the ones that were streamed through Patreon, so they need to have the link to get to it. Yeah. You can only get there through being a Patreon subscriber. Some people thumbs down my videos. Some people pay to listen to it and go, "Not for me. Here's a tip."
That was the worst service I've ever had in my entire life. I'm pretty sure you shattered my soup. 5%.
And man, one of them was like the one with Gene on, like one of the most wholesome podcasts. Like there's always just someone just there going, "Whoa."
You know what? You're allowed to pay to call us cunts. I've got no problem with that. That's, it's like going to the zoo. Right? You're allowed to pay to be like, "I think this is evil and cruel." I'm here, gonna get a picture of me beside the lion. This is cruel, and we shouldn't be allowed to do it anymore. When's the Penguin March? Sick.
Right, cool. I'm coming for that.
Aye. I've been asked to sponsor the Sloth again at Edinburgh Zoo.
Aye.
Because they got in contact last year. I'm sure we did a podcast.
Are they knocking your door doing for this? I feel like is this? I have heard of this before, haven't I? It's not the first time you've mentioned it.
There's a Sloth at Edinburgh Zoo now, and Edinburgh Zoo's, I think it was their marketing team, obviously just went, well,
Daniel Sloth.
Daniel Sloth, like that's a joke I make all the time.
They've had Kaiwalas for years. that then.
You know what I did?
But you would not unsubscribe, but you would hover your finger over the dislike button.
Yeah, it's fucking coming. I'll listen to the rest of it, but I want you to know I didn't fucking enjoy it. So you've got, I don't mind paying money to sponsor a sloth. They will not name it after me, and I'm not saying they have to, but come on.
What, they won't call it Cream?
They won't call it Daniel Sloth. It's got like Jerry or something. I don't know what his actual name is, but I'm like, the puns there. People like puns.
So did they initially approach Jerry Cinnamon and just worked their way down?
Yeah.
Lewis Capaldi couldn't do it.
Yeah. He wouldn't do it, and then they went, right, who's after this?
Bridges,
Frankie, not interested. Susan Calman, not interested. John McGinn, not
so
at
we can
all.
end up with a sloth called Gareth Moore.
Because if you sponsor at the highest level of sponsor, you get to go and feed the sloth. And sloths to me are a lot like pandas in that the entire time you're looking at them, you're like, that's not an actual animal. Like, all pandas are quite visibly human beings in panda suits, just trying to get sponsorship because the world isn't willing to admit we killed all the pandas. Sloths are clearly robots. Like, that's why they're so slow, because if they went any faster, you'd see the jerky movements of their arms, but they just do that, reach out, grab a banana.
Also, like, conserving their battery as well, because you can leave them out for longer if you're not constantly charging them. You know, if you put a robot chimp out, it's going to be fucking swinging around, flinging shit and all that. It's going to be on charge it's going to be like a fucking iPhone. Pandas are like Nokias.
Yeah, old school Nokias. We haven't fed this thing in 9 days. He's on 75%.
It'll be fine. So what resistance are you putting up to the sponsor and the sloth?
Well, I said it doesn't matter. It's the fact that they won't call it Tiger Sloth.
So what do they even want you to do then?
So just sponsor it because...
Oh, so they're asking for money off you? Will you sponsor this sloth? So they're not... right, aye. I thought they were like, can we use you as advertisement for a sloth?
No. They get a bunch of people to sponsor so they can do up the enclosure and make sure it's fed, and make sure it's got all the right vets and everyone with the appropriate knowledge. And by vets, I obviously mean engineers. Like, people just coming in at fucking 1 a.m, being like, right, the battery pack's just behind his head, take that off, swap them over. It's looking a little bit jerky, so shove that screw.
I jump started. Just put the jump leads on its nipples.
Yeah. But what you get from it is you get the knowledge that you're helping a poor defenceless creature. Do you know what the number one killer of sloths in the wild is?
It's Matthew, your brother.
He's just constantly like, there can be only one. I mean, Jack are like, one? What? Like, 10. Let's 10. There can be only 10.
Just thinking of your grandparents and that. Trying to keep the extended family alive.
The number one killer of sloths in the wild is sloths accidentally grabbing their own arms, thinking it's a branch.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Aye.
This is one of the things.
Nope.
This is it. I know I haven't done one in a while, Daniel, but you're not getting us with a true lie. You've got us on a come down. I've just come back from a music festival. You're like, here with Kai on the podcast, thinking the sloth was trying to swing off its own arm and then fell 30 feet of its death.
Grab and they go, fucking hell, that's pretty sturdy. I'll just bring my leg up to this other solid branch. Wee splat, and then I assume something eats it on the floor, but there's no escape at that point. It's the same with the number one killer of Geordies, is just them clipping their own heels and falling over on pavements.
Oh, no doubt. The last words of most Geordies is watch this. It's documented.
How did you come down?
I'm really shocked my wife doesn't want a divorce. And I can see the cogs turning with it, and I think it's just one of them things where she just can't be asked to just unpick all the bills and all that.
Aye.
Even though they're all in her name, it would be the easiest divorce for her. literally, even stuff that I sign up for, like the Wi-Fi, I put it in Natalie's name because I'm like, well, I'm going to be away. She'll be the one dealing with it when it breaks down.
Yeah.
I'd have the car.
Yeah. You wouldn't get the dog.
I'll have the paperwork for the dogs under Natalie.
Yeah.
Like everything else, honestly. I think I've got as much stake on my house as Cullen has on yours. It would be an easy divorce.
Squatters' rights.
It actually, she can afford it with others.
Aye. Whereas,
So like I'm not like I'm holding on by a string. If Natalie wants to break up with me,
yeah.
not that hard for her.
God, you're such a feminist.
It's really
if I'm a shit husband, I'm financially ruined. You're welcome, Jermaine Greer.
I just didn't want to be tied in. I didn't want her to feel like she's a hostage, you know. I didn't want her to be tied in with red tape.
She's just doing it for love, and then every day you give her less and less reasons to love you.
Aye, that's what happened.
So why have you bothered to this time? Were you messaging her while drunk? Or?
No, I haven't caused anything that's made her life any harder.
It's just the state.
But I come back from a fucking every time I come back from a music festival, I look like Johnny Knoxville's just been recording. I should have stitches in my arm. I've gashed my arm wide open. It wouldn't stop bleeding.
And it's a testament to you as a human being that you put into the group, and you had this huge bloody gash down the back of your arm. You woke up, you had blood all down
it looked like I'd been shot because I had a white t-shirt on. Aye. So it looked like a fucking bullet hole there because all the blood off the gash on my elbow. Because what an awkward place to gash your arm as well, because you're just fucking constantly drinking, smoking, fucking dancing.
Aye.
You know how fast I dance. Fuck me.
Fucking spinning round just like a fucking Beyblade as it shooks off all this blood. Just giving everyone in the area hepatitis C.
Oh, it was really funny because have you ever seen this punch shows that stop it in that way, like these like kind of Native American punch shows, like really like hippie, like fucking heavy woven punch shows, not just the ones
you just call the American Indians Native Americans hippies. I mean, to be fair, they were. They were.
Always take LSD and tie to the stars and all that. They're the first hippies.
Yeah.
Hippies are actually culturally appropriating the Native Americans, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. Except Native Americans definitely killed and used every single part of like oxes and bison and things, whereas the current hippies are like, they're one with us, man. And just all the Native Americans are just like, no, man, like you can make sick pipes out of their hooves. Like really,
they're really
like
good.
I know you can eat some of the meat off a buffalo's leg, but I tell you what, you scoop out the bottom of that hoof, it's a hell of a bong.
Use every bit of the animal.
Yep.
Aye. What I just did there is like calling someone who used to use vinyl in the 60s a hipster.
Aye. You're like, no, that was the only option.
We were earnestly. Yeah. So I had one of them things on, and for the longest time I didn't know how I had this fucking gaping axe wound on my arm. I didn't know.
Well, you put it in the group, and everyone's response, 100% response was, who did you fight? How's the other guy? What lie do you need us to tell? What alibi have you got? Who did something slightly... Don't get me wrong, you've never punched someone who didn't deserve to be punched, but you have made fights that could have been walked away from. Scummy Batman, I've always said it.
You're still looking at it going, oh, this is the worst case scenario. Kai's fighting with weapons now. It was bad enough when he didn't have weapons. So, this is night one of the festival.
Of your mother's festival.
I'd had half a pill. And when I realised that I had a good handle on that, took me a little 2CB to top us up. And there was a constant through-fare of weed.
Aye.
No coke, no like that. I'm just monitoring me fucking uppers while I'm getting high and having a drink, right? But there was a point where...
And also just as somebody who's 3 weeks off it now, how was the weed? Tell me everything. What did it smell like?
It was lovely.
Aye.
It was really nice. We didn't mix it with tobacco. And big blunts, which I call a blunt, and in America a blunt just means that it's rolled with cigar paper. But because no one really does that here, there's no use for the word blunt, so I've repurposed it to just mean we're not using tobacco.
Well, to be fair, that's a bit unfair because the Americans have never taken any of our words, completely changed the meanings and then ruined them. So that's a very cool thing if you should do.
We also do that to them on one other thing. What? Well, two other things, but for the same thing. Fanny and touche. We go, Fanny, that's your word for bum. Alright, we're using it for pussy because we haven't got enough words for that. Oh, you use touche for bum. Aye, alright, we're gonna use that for pussy as well. Touche? Touche? Is it touche?
Nope.
Aye.
Your fanny's your touche?
Aye.
Like the front,
but, you know,
the front fanny, the vagina's a touche.
Oh, maybe another fucking blind fingers. Even Ryan Dixon, the gay lad, he come and went, I tried touche and muggle off. And like, you would have just went, well, you've always been trying that. But I knew fine well that he meant he'd been with a lass.
Oh.
I never call it touche.
Nah.
Any word that's used for bum in America, we just use it for front bum, front touche. What was I saying?
Linda's Farm.
Linda's Farm. Right. So right. There was a point where I was like fucking on because you were asking about the weed and that, right? So there was a point where the bit of Limitless. Yeah. Where he's just walking down the street and fucking boom, he's on another block and boom. Like I wasn't full blackout, but I was just like, this is class. Let's fucking get to this.
Limitless, which sorry to interject here, which has like one of the most brutal murders in any movie I've ever seen. It's where the woman Bradley Cooper in the movie takes some of the things and like she's running through the park away from somebody who's trying to, I assume, murder her, and she runs across an ice rink and picks up a 4-year-old girl.
He uses a child as a weapon.
Swings around and uses the blade on her ice skates to slit the man's throat, and then just puts the child back down and lets it ice skate away. And you're like, you pay for the therapy, minimum.
When was the movie? How old's that kid? How old's that kid now? That's an origin story. What you Limitless 2, that's nothing about the pill. Yeah. It's just about this girl becoming a fucking super villain because... It
came out in 2011.
2011, it's 11 years ago. She was 4 at the time, cunt's a teenager. High. There we go. Shit, I want that story. Yeah. I want Limitless too.
Just imagine that you're just like somebody's chasing you and you fucking walk down the street and you're like, oh god, what do I do? I'm in America. There's a gun shop right there. There's a hardware store that sells axes. Hold on. That baby looks like it's got a thick skull. Handing it back to the wife. Sorry, I was in danger. What? No, I'm in danger. They're going to take my baby as my child is evidence now. Like they're going to have to put her in a little plastic bag.
There's fingerprints on that.
Just imagine that. Fuck, oh god, I need to get away, and just jumping into a pram, picking up a broom, and with both your knees on the side of a 3-year-old's neck, sailing away down the street.
Imagine the dad getting home to his wife now, like, and how was ice skating, honey? Right, here's out.
I need you to wash her ice skates. Oh no, why? There's some blood in it. Oh, were they too tight on her just toes in there? No.
Like, have you been smoking weed again? But it had nothing to do with that. I was just thought I'll have a spliff, I'll take a ice skate. What's the worst that could happen? I didn't think the fucking mafia lord was going to come up and use her as a weapon. Alright, then blame the drugs. Blame the drugs then.
Right. But I'm going to be honest with you, I think that other lady must have been on drugs because the aiming was exceptional.
It was the last one, not the mafia lad that was chasing her.
Oh, she did it.
She did it.
Just
the good guy.
The good guy picked up a small child. And
you cease to be the good guy in the story when you use a child as a weapon.
Well, unless you didn't see, like, if you just grab a kid by its arms and you swing them around, they're having a great time.
I thought you were Hezbollah, sauce.
Wait.
So if you were Hezbollah, I would have grabbed you by the feet.
I think you mean Hezbollah, because Hezbollah is the... I feel like I don't want to say. Hezbollah is not Hezbollah. Hezbollah is. I don't want to.
Is it a terrorist organisation? No. Are you like, is it freedom fighter to some people? Am I picking an allegiance?
One of those. Yeah. What we've done is we've waded into the murky waters of Judaism in the Middle East, and I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, because I've read that I was talking about the Tamil Tigers on stage. It would be a terrorist organisation because the whole bit was the confusion about the Tamil Tigers from Sri Lanka. Well, she's giving us me vaccinations, and I'm just like, I can't wait to see them in the wild now, lad. Yeah. I'm going to fucking sponsor one, name it after us, whatever. Right, so the whole bit was like confusing the tiger with a Tamil tiger, and I'd called them terrorist organisation, and somebody going, no, I think you'll find the freedom fighters. Like,
what is Hezbollah?
I don't want to pick an allegiance. I'm just trying to crack a joke.
Lebanese Shia Islamist political party and militant group.
There you go. Okay, because and to be fair, I'm not fucking political. The only reason I remember that is because I'm pretty sure it was on Sacha Baron Cohen's Bruno movie, and that's Hezbollah. Hezbollah is
it's quite an easy mistake to make, that though, isn't it?
Aye. I do not. He's one of those ones that's come through where the internet made someone famous, and I'm like, shit choice. Wrong guy. Wrong guy. Just, I'm not a fan of any of it. I don't like his attitude.
I thought it was a kid for the longest time. Like, I never even clicked on any of the videos, stopped, and I just kept scrolling by, going, there's that little fucking kid again who looks like an old man.
I think he's young.
Adult, isn't it?
Yeah, but young adult. I think he's maybe in his 20s.
Yeah, idea.
Anyway, I wish him all the best.
Get him on the pod. He's actually on now, you just can't see him. So there's this young'un who I fucking took to the festival with us. I mentioned him on a couple of podcasts back. The little ginger mullet lad. He's called Jack Trainer. Fucking, I'd seen him on at Red Raw. Bumped into him in the streets, had a fucking night out with him in Edinburgh, and then I sent him a little message, just going, do you want to come to this music festival? I've got a spot available, there's a bit of cash in it. He's only been gone 8 months, he's only done 2 cash gigs. So it was fucking mind-blowing for him. Like, he was at the festival going, I can't believe I'm getting paid for this. But instantly, all my mates from Newcastle just get slang with him straight away. Cut from the same cloth, you know what I mean? Kid could have been a squaddy.
Aye.
You know? So, I having a good time, but I was kind of lost with him. But it's a small festival and we're looking to run for everyone and we're both just fucking dealing with the come up of this 2CB while we're already on that shit. And I just looked under my heavy poncho because I felt like a little fucking something on my arm. Like, it wasn't sore, it wasn't painful, but like, felt wet. Mm-hmm. You know, and I opened it up and there's just blood all over my t-shirt. So my instant things like fucking, have I caught with something? And there's no there. And then I just see it like dripping down my arm. It's all down my arm. And I just say, oh, fuck it. Get on with my day. And we're looking around for everybody and we find them eventually and they're all fucking dancing, hip-hop arrays on and all that, so it's all like hip-hop covers but with a band and shit, so it's really fucking cool. And we're all dancing away and Jack's the only one that knows that I'm bleeding out and I keep flashing the blood of him and then like dropping down onto one knee while I'm dancing as if I'm on my actual last legs and I just have to be there and it's like I'm fucking climbing back up and I'm using him to climb back up so I can keep dancing with my last breath. The fucking cunt was howling. And then Grassy eventually caught wind of it and fucking went to the bar and got like the tiniest little plaster and put that on. Fucking me good.
It was shocking.
It was honestly like fucking holding a bucket of water over the side of the Titanic and then just carrying on dancing to the band.
Like, guys, I don't know what the problem is. I fixed it.
I was like, thanks for being here. But the next morning I woke up and I'm just in a fucking bloodbath. All over my sleeping bag, all over my tent. It's still bleeding out of my arm. And I went to the medic's tent at 10 in the morning and spent the rest of the weekend reframing that. I've got a new word for spinning. I got it off John Hastings.
Aye.
I reframe things now. They're all like, you fucking pussy, you've been to the medic's tent. I'm like, you pussy, I haven't been to the medic's tent. But you were in bed, I'm already getting stitched up. That's how fucking much I'm hitting the festival. Do you like what I'm doing?
I never enjoy it, but I understand what you're doing.
Can you get on board? Like after I'd been to the medic's tent, Ricketts gave us fucking a double shot of Jaeger bomb, like in a fucking kind of large glass. Aye. You know, when it takes you more than one gulp to have a shot. Yeah,
and which I'm fully against. That's the problem with like American shots is they just fill up tumblers and they're like, hey, here's a shot, and you're like, if I puff out my cheeks like a chipmunk and there's still stuff in there, you're being a dick. Like, don't get me wrong, it's impressive if you do an American shot, but that's not what shots are supposed to be.
It's meant to be doing the hatch, fucking oyster. It's like, and there's your oyster. Like,
do I get a knife and fork? No. Why would you get that? Makes no sense.
You've just got to chew it down, mate. So I had Jack rejoined all the fucking squaddy lads when they got out the tent. They were like, fucking this cunt, Jack Hans, this cunt, he's already spewed up and been in the medic's tent. It's not even 10 o'clock. And I was just like, when are he's going to catch up? Absolutely reframing the fact that I've been a massive pussy. And just repackaged
So how did you...
So when I didn't know how it had happened, and all I had in my mind was, I remember going to dive over this hay bale. There was a bunch of hay bales in the way.
And you hit the one needle.
It's Kai luck. It's Kai luck. But to find a dirty needle in a hay bale near Blythe.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, there's heaps of those.
Reframe it.
Yeah.
No, it was just like raw hay bales, and I ran to just like fucking scud across it, like fucking something off. I nearly used the game Siphon Filter, but that might have been before your time.
Well over my head.
So I went like scud across this hay bale. I could have just used any other game that came since Siphon Filter, but I think this was the first one for me where you could just dive through glass and that. And I went to skid across it and didn't realise that at the other side of these hay bales, because they were like maybe just over hip high, there was just people sat having a pint, just having a smoke and all that underneath it, and I just nearly just boof, landed on them. Right, so damn it.
What?
So in the middle of jumping I bailed. Sorry.
No, I'm not ready.
I didn't know what other word to use when I found myself there.
Aye, backed yourself into a Milton Jones corner. If only there was a Tim Vine you could have used to escape.
Oh.
You fucking started that.
Oh man, I didn't mean to. Yeah, I mean that's like me helping you in with your shop and accidentally drop it, so you just come along and just fucking launch my shop now at the fence. Because you know how we shop together, even though we live 45 miles apart.
Yeah, but we'll always meet up at the same Asda. We'll just, and sometimes just for fun, we'll give each other shopping list.
I'll drop you off. I'll drop you off. I'll help you in with it. All right, bad analogy.
Aye.
Right, but all I remembered was like fucking like bailing out of this fucking jump, and I was like, I surely haven't fucking split my arm like that off the hay bale. I'm trying to piece it together because I wasn't like black out like I remember me evening, but I was just like, but the fact is, I found the wound. I didn't notice it happening. I just discovered it.
Aye.
And I was like,
I've noted like there's the amount of movies really make you think that like if you get fucking cut or if you get shot, like it's you fall down and die instantly sort of thing, which is not the case. I mean, thanks to some of the forums I follow on Reddit, I'm going to say in the past month I've seen at least 16 people get shot. And man, people getting shot do not react like you think they would get.
Yeah, they got it right in movies.
No. So this is an actually interesting one. So people now, there's a psychological effect. Now sometimes people fall down if they're shot, but that's not because it's the body's reaction. That's because in movies it was impossible to sort of depict during World War I movies what would happen if people get shot, which is they don't realise they get shot because all this adrenaline goes down and they go away and they die like 30 feet later, but that doesn't look good on film. So they were just like, fall down and that's you dying. So falling down after being shot is a Hollywood thing, which then made its way into our psyche, that sometimes now when people are shot just in the shoulder, they'll fall down. But that's nothing to do with their body reacting. It's purely their brain going, this is what happens in movies. Whereas people just get shot and just like, you see them getting shot and they go, ah, and then sort of look down and you see blood coming out and then they just run away and you're like, I wonder how far he got. Like, I mean, it doesn't make me want to get shot.
You got to the hip hop tent?
Appropriate place to go while shot.
Yeah.
I'm going to go be amongst my people.
Just going to blend in. So I remember as well when we were looking for everybody, right? I was looking like we're just fucking about, because it's not a big festival, but maybe there's about 5 tents on that have got shit going on, and like I said, some of them are fucking pretty big, so you have to have like a big wander around the group when you're looking for your mates. But they're all wearing fucking hippie ponchos, so they're pretty easy to find, right? But when we're looking, I just stopped and I was like, there's a fucking lassie there giving away papers. She was like dressed like medieval and had this big stack of papers on her arm and she's fucking dishing them out to people, and it's like 2 a.m, there's fucking drum and bass on and that, like fucking everyone's going nuts. And I'm like, to what end? What are you giving these out for?
It's just her number.
I just like, but they were really like thick. Somebody had made these and printed them. I'm on acid, I'm bleeding out, right? And I'm just like looking for my mates, and I'm just like, so somebody made these and all that, and I'm fucking flicking through and I look, there's one of the pages, it was like a thin column and it was all the words to what should we do with the drunken sailor? And I'm just like, what should we do with the drunken sailor? And I just dropped my knees and I went, why? Why would somebody make this? I need to know why.
Was it just
clutching it in my hands, blood dripping down my arm, tripping me pals off on acid? I've kidnapped this young'un off the street. He was 1 minute, he was fucking cleaning with a pressure washer. This is his job, right? Cleaning fucking moss and all that off the streets. And then he gets a text off me going, do you want to come this weekend? And it was like it was proper short notice. It was practically the next day, right? And he was going to quit his job anyway because he hated it. And he just fucking quit his job there and then. I fucking plucked some cunt out of his job, took him away, and he's just watching me bleeding and going, why?
He's like, I don't think I made the correct career choice today.
The absolute correct career choice.
So were these just little pamphlets of lyrics to songs?
Mate, it was like a broadsheet. It was massive, and it was just all fucking songs and narrative. Nah, you know how people at festivals just do things to just
but what? Like, what's weird? You're just sitting there and you're watching like your fucking favourite artist sing a song. You're like, God, I wish I knew the lyrics of this. Oh yeah, page 3. Here they all just like a fucking choir hymn sheet at a fucking music festival, being like, Shame on it. Oh no.
No. Yeah. Let those guys sing it. Don't let the white man print it.
No. I mean, I know there's definitely some newspapers in the UK, especially some of the broadsheets, that would be like, they let you print the N-word onto paper.
If only.
Aye,
the Daily Mail guys can. We dream.
Aye, we can't do it. We've got to reframe it now.
Aye. So, where was I there on that little pilgrimage?
Some women handed you the broadsheets.
I feel like that was just this little side quest.
Well, we're trying to get to the bottom of how you injured
so that was like a little side quest on my bigger story. So I've got all these memories. Like, my memory isn't blank. I remember, like, vividly these things happening. But because in the midst of all this, like, I touched it and I felt it and I'm like, when the fuck that happened? Must have been the hay bale or whatever, right? The next night, I was watching Rudimental and we took a little bit of ketamine for Rudimental coming on. Aye. Just thought we'd have a little... Aye. I never normally do that.
Aye, Ket's I've never done it. It's never fucking appealed to me. Like,
Well,
I've seen people on Ket and I'm like, that doesn't look fun. Like, when people are just holding on to something because they think they're about to float away.
Actually, fucking Lieutenant Dan medevaced someone out of a tent.
Yeah?
He was sat, I'm going to do it, right? He sat legs on the floor out in front of him, and I can't do it because of my hamstrings. I'll try, head on his, like, not touching though, head there, and he was just locked in. Cunt was locked in. And I just went up to him and I was on fucking shit myself and all that. I just handled my business. I just walked in and I was like, he was definitely in a keyhole. I was like, do you need help? And he just let like the slightest nod. You know, like fucking, you know, when people get like fucking motor neurons or whatever and they're like, the best they can do is like move an eyelid or some shit like that. He gave us one of them. And I just fucking got him out of there, just got him on my shoulder, fucking took his whole weight and just put him out by the fucking same hay bales I nearly did me on. Just fucking does a cut.
Do you guys need a friend? No, thank you. Here you go.
I literally just passed the buck with him though. I was just like, keep an eye on him because he was just on the floor where people were fucking dancing and jumping around and all that. And I just
get
put
back
him
to the
somewhere.
tent and 3 people come back and be like, did anyone see our friend here? Somebody took his wheelchair and we just left him here because he was... a miracle happened.
I think he wandered off.
That's not possible.
He's dancing, he's up the front.
That can't be possible. He has motor neuron disease.
Oh, I did say it was like that.
Yeah.
I was so close. I was so close. Shit, I'm worried about him now.
Yeah, well.
I hope they found him. Like I said, it's a small festival. Wonder Run. They probably wouldn't run looking for him and just got caught on the newspaper. Why though? Watching Rudimental, had a little kick of ketamine. Just get to see what this is like because I've only really done it when I played football.
I remember that.
In a beef at the heat of the day.
Yeah. Oh God, stupid young boys.
Well, I didn't think I was taking it though, did I? I was like,
yeah, you did.
Elliot come up and give us a key.
Yeah, right. And if a horse hands you a white powder, it's horse tranquilizer.
The glass is just shattered. I'm the fool. I'm the fool. Watching Rudimental, right, and I need a piss, right, and the fucking urinals are just there, and I'm just going to the rickets, didn't move, I'm going for a piss. And he went, oh, good luck getting back in. And I look, and there's just fucking loads of people trying to get into the tent. As I mentioned, the main stage is in a tent.
Yeah.
Right? So once it's full, it's full. And there's other people that are just watching from the wings and they can't get in, fucking health and safety bullshit, right? And if I gone out for a piss, that's just done. Right? So I've just got to nip it or whatever. And as soon as I look now and walk towards it, I was like, fucking yes. This is what happened. I went to see Madness on the Friday, and it was full, and they stopped letting people in. And there was this young security guard on the exit bit where people could go out, right? And that was like the easiest way to go in because everything else is like fenced off. And he didn't let us in at first, and I was like, all right, leave our mate. And then like I fucking whip my hood up on my poncho and I fucking try to sneak in. He's like, nah, mate. And then I start like creeping like I'm a fucking like a burglar in a cartoon to go in past him, right? And he's
walking
like,
past, just peeking through one finger.
And me and Jack are howling because this guy is earnest every time. There's no part of him that's like having a laugh, but he's like, nah mate, sorry, you're not allowed through here. As if he can't remember the last time I did it.
You walk past with a mustache and a monocle, being like, I don't know if you saw my brother trying to get in earlier, but he's a much lower class version of me. I was just looking for him inside of the tent. I know it's you. What?
Basically, mate, I must have done about 5 or 6 different variations. Like one of them, I'm just like hands in my pocket, just. Oh, sorry, mate, I didn't know you weren't allowed in now, you know, right away. And just like regrouping like 2 yards away from him to do it again. And
to try to do that that old viral video of the cat that only moves when the camera's behind the door.
Aye.
You're like, he looks away and you get closer. Next time you're like, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? You're not getting in. What's the time? Mate, you're not getting back in. 6 o'clock. One.
I tried to crawl through on all fours. I'm looking up at him, mate. We were fucking howling because we're fucking tripping balls now.
Aye.
And this is just this is like way funnier than it's already funny as a concept, but it's amplified by 1,000,000 because we're on uppers. And then I just went to Jack. I was like, I've ran out of ideas, and I just ran and just fucking swan dived forward, face first, and just fucking commando rolled at the other side of the fence, ran backwards, fingers up, fuck off, mate. Because he can't leave the door, he's got to stop people getting in.
Aye.
I think like he chased us for a bit, and that's when Jack ghosted in. He just took the decoy, and then he's like, well, he's there in the crowd now, I'm never going to get them, and just let work on. So fucking dance front of madness. And that's like shortly after that's when we funded everybody. And I hadn't realised, like, when I'd fucking stacked it, I didn't know if there's a bit of broken glass off, it was just the fucking hitting the hard floor from a height, face first, just fucking big gash straight through my arm.
Well, there you go.
So I was just like, the epiphany when I was watching Rudimental, he's like, oh, you'll not get back in. I was like, yes!
There it is.
Yes!
Well, I wish I had that story earlier, because when we were doing Daniel Sloss and Friends in Perth on Saturday night, because obviously this injury happened to you on the Friday, people were asking me, where's Kai? Is Kai one of the friends this week? And I was like, no, he's away doing a music festival. We think he might have gotten in a fight last night because we hadn't heard this story yet. And you're probably asking yourself, Daniel, why were you talking to so many fans at the Perth theatre gig? Do you remember December when we played Perth Concert Hall last time? What happened during the interval?
Yes, the fire alarm went off.
You were dead because somebody was smoking in the bathrooms.
Yeah, someone was, because it was after we'd just done some epic long journeys, and I was like, I'll get the show sound check, I'll do my set, and I'll fuck off.
Aye.
And then when I was fucking off, I just came out and just hung out in the car park.
Yeah, because the fire alarm had gone off. So, you know, these things happen, mistakes are made, it's none of the staff's fault, it's nobody, it's just one.
How many tours we've done? 10?
I mean, yeah, about that.
We've done about 10 tours.
Never a fire alarm.
Like an average of about 150 shows, that's based on some of them having 30 and some of them having 300.
Yeah. No
1,500 shows, one fire alarm.
Yep.
Are you telling me that the second Perth show you had another fire alarm?
So
It seems like it's the venue's problem.
no. So that's right. We're backstage. The lineup is I've got on Liam Farrelly. Got a new guy called Daniel Petrie. I don't know if you've seen him before.
I saw his name listed for something that we're doing in Air.
Yeah. Oh man, he's real good.
Class.
Like Marlena kept sort of pestering me to have him on. I'm like, I haven't seen him, but sure enough. And I trust Marlena's judgment on comedy because all of our clients are like friends and stuff and comedians that I fucking really rate. So I know she's got a good eye for it. But I also had the skepticism of like, I mean, you've also signed some shit before. There's been some stuff that doesn't work out.
They came and went now, though.
Aye, but he fucking smashed. Hannah Fairweather smashed, and then Ryan Cullen did it. I was just addicted the whole time. I brought him on too. He's big, he's bald. We all know what he's called. Ryan Cullen. Before the gig, we're all backstage, and we're all in the fucking green room.
So this is a Saturday, so I've already woke up and showed you the fucking damage.
Yeah. It's about 10 minutes before the show starts. I've got my fucking vape on me, and literally, I take a puff, I blow out, I watch as it slowly makes its way to a fire detector.
You try to get in between it.
Man, I panicked like a kitten playing with fucking yarn. Right? It went up there, the fire alarm went off, and I went, oh no. Right? And the furnace shouldn't, man.
Like trying to get the sugar out of your coffee.
The fucking second it hit, right, the fire alarm went off, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, I'm a fucking idiot, right? All my knowledge of like how the fact that water vapor doesn't set off fire alarms, it's not these things that does it. It's trying to look out smoke, not just fucking perspiration. Essentially, not perspiration, but you know what I mean, liquid in the air. none of that matters, because the facts are, I blew out smoke, the entire fucking fire alarm comes off, and I'm like, oh my God, Marlene's like, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a big dumb cunt. So we go outside.
He's getting fined for that?
We go outside, and all the fans are fucking coming out, and I'm saying to staff, I'm like, it's all me, like, fucking fair enough. And I'm yelling to the audience as they come out. I'm like, it's not a real fire. I'm sorry, but we do have to fucking go through this thing. And man, I am mortified. What a stupid fucking, I'm bigger than the rules. Consequences don't apply to me because I'm the name of the fucking thing, right? And then I'm just sat there, and I'm apologising to a member of staff. I'm like, I'm really sorry. It was very unprofessional. And he went, what was? I went, I set the fire alarm off. He went, you were in the foyer on the first floor. And I went, what? And he goes, somebody elbowed the fire alarm.
And the timing was perfect.
The timing of it was fucking believable. Like,
imagine, right? You just, with all of the like fucking authority you could muster, was like, it was me, it was the thing. Cancel it, because these things like automatically send a memo to the fucking fire memo. Singing telegram turns up and goes, "There's been a fire." There's been a pigeon just flies away from the theatre.
Unfurls the notes. There's a fire at Perth Theatre. Oh my God, a talking pigeon.
It's just water.
Yeah, it came in and it said fire. What was I supposed to do? I thought it was a suicidal pigeon.
So what you have to do is like fucking cancel the fire brigade from coming. That's what it was at the leisure centre back in the day anyway, so they probably had that. Imagine you just went in, somebody had like fucking actually had a fire, the kitchen was fucking burning and all that, right? And there was an actual fire, and you went, no, it was me with a vape. Cancel it. Yeah. Cancel it all. Stop the fire brigade, get everybody back into this burning building. We
can hear the screams coming from the kitchen. They're probably scared. It's a loud noise.
Aye, that's the lobsters, they're making lobsters. Just the air coming out their shells.
But man, the fucking relief to go from that was 100% my fault to they were able to fucking verify the fire alarm had gone in. We're like, yep. So unfortunately, because somebody fucking, we hope that it was an accidental thing, that it was just somebody fucking.
Yeah, did you switch from like, oh my God, sorry guys, it was me, it was an accident, I was smoking a vape, I didn't know I could do that. Anybody can make a mistake, please forgive me. It was somebody else. Who? Oh, what an idiot.
Man, I went on stage sounding like the most Scottish meme in the world, and I was like, it was fucking what he is!
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting! Like, two in a fucking row. Now, Perth is always one of our fucking favourite gigs in Scotland. Like, I think it comes from the fact that not only is it just a fun place to do comedy, but because it's one of the places that we've done so consistently on tour.
Yeah,
there's like this.
You built the audience before you'd done much TV, so like there's this critical mass of people that like that feel like they knew you before you were famous.
Aye. Oh man, one of the lovely ladies whose name escapes me for the time being has 5 photos in there that I'll show you after this of her being with us through the years, and it's really nice because
Marina McCoffey. She does Inverness mostly. Eden Court.
No, so
yeah, because we've got photos from back when I was bleach blonde and you had your bob.
Well, so we've got all those, but it's a really beautiful set of photographs because this woman beat cancer. So in like one of the photos, halfway through is where she's got no hair. She's been going through the chemotherapy, and then like the next 2 after that are her with us again, and she's
just getting healthier.
Yeah, just getting better, and it's a really nice way to see.
Just watching we're going in different directions. She's getting healthier, and we're getting fucking deteriorated.
And we looked like. I have to ask, did you, in the 10 years we've known each other, did you get your bong eye fixed at any point? Have you had any extra surgery on it? Because, like, these younger photos I'm like, they're excessive.
It's way worse than it was.
Yeah.
You know what? You probably haven't noticed as much because, like, it's very rare, like, I'm drunk and you're not.
Aye.
So I think it's just when I'm fucked. I think it's when I'm fucked, and you're probably not looking deep into my eyes if you're fucked.
Well, yeah, I saved that for when we're sober.
You think it new? Why are you doing it? Oh, class, good on that man.
Aye, so we got all those ones, and you know it was. But if it happens again at fucking Perth, like at that point,
so you've told a few hundred people in Perth that I got stabbed.
Yeah, well, because I was outside after, because we're all out queued together, and because for so long I thought it was fucking my fault. Like, the fourth wall was ruined, and also it doesn't really exist with the fucking people in Perth. It'd be like being like in Kirkcaldy, being
Aye.
like, oh, you know, it's
Punch drunk.
yeah, you know the people. So we ended up hanging out and just talking to heaps of them, and everyone was happy because Karen and Caelan were there, and they got to, you know, see him, and he was fascinated by the fire brigade and everything. But if it happens again at Perth, we are going to have to, for like the 4th gig in Perth, get extra security standing beside every single fucking fire alarm. Being like, this is not a funny bit. It's allowed. I believe the first one was an accident because that was somebody smoking in the toilets. We know that was that. This one was somebody accidentally, we hope, banging a fucking fire alarm. If it happens a third time,
more fool us.
Aye.
And I just want to fucking see how good Lindisfarne Festival is as well. Like, it's such a, because it's really compact, right? But there's like still quite a lot of shit going on. But there's just such a good vibe in the air. Like, it's a proper, like, there's zero hostility. But this is the difference, right? You know, when there's zero hostility at somewhere like Festival, like, the people at Festival couldn't fight if they wanted to. Like, this is a bunch of people that are pretty hard.
Aye, yeah.
And there's no hostility.
Yeah, everyone in Lindisfarne has like a fight record. They're like 7-3, 19-4.
Aye, there's like fucking mad tattoos and all that, right? Like, it's a good like, it's proper salt of the earth, good cunt. It's like, it is like a fucking festival of punch drunk where everyone's just fucking nice to each other and kind to each other, but like, it's fucking, I just think there's something.
Unless you're a member of security trying to just do your job so people don't get crammed in a tent.
Even then, the way I approached it wasn't exactly like it would be like, oh, fuck, not letting us in, like, I got a square cool. I definitely approached that in a hilarious manner. There's definitely feel good vibes into how I broke into the tent.
Can I ask what Chilli Scissors is?
Oh, so hi. So this is what I was getting at, you know, like, so I come back from this and Natalie's like, you know, when she just remains as of my age, it was one of them where I'm just like, you're 39, I've got this big thing, and I'm sat having breakfast or whatever, and then she's like, you've got a cut on your head. See that cut there?
Oh, aye.
And I just went, aye, and now, man, I've been to a festival. Didn't even explain it, this is what happened. I'm trying to get at the festival when we can, right? It's like nearly finished. I'm not trying to get in. I'm just drinking my can on the way from the tent back into the festival. And they're like, oh, you can't bring that in, mate. And I was like, I need bother. And I went to put it through. There's like a slit gap like that in the top of one of the bins. And I'm thinking that it's for your cans. Oh, the can one's there. And now that's for fucking drugs or what?
Well, that's for all the programmes of
what do we do with a
drunken sailor.
And I'm trying to get it through there. I'm off me tits, right?
Like a fucking 2-year-old that doesn't understand the shape and holes game.
Exactly. And my mate Michelle's with us, right? And she's like fucking laughing because I'm trying to get this through. And I looked at her, I looked at that, and I went bang like that to crush the can. It didn't buckle. I used my heat to smash it through the hole, and it didn't even crumble. And I'm like, ah! And the fucking security guards are like, are you alright, mate?
Like, no, I'm clearly unwell.
I need help. And she's fucking howling. So I'm there with Natalie, and she's like, you've got a cut in your head. I'm like, I know, man, I've been to a festival, just having a nice time. This is Inquisition. And so that same day, yesterday, we're cooking a meal. I'm chopping up the steak because we're fucking making a stir fry, right? Chopping up the steak. And Natalie just went, I feel like I need to say this, Kai. Don't put these scissors in your eyes because I've been chopping chili with them. And I looked at her as if to give, you know how every time you say something like that, I'm like, you've got a caricature of me in your head. I just looked at her, she's like, go on then. Go on then. Should I not have mentioned it? I was like, I want to do it. I wasn't even thinking about doing it. It's like you're trying to make us do it.
And did you avoid the temptation?
I did, but it was quite funny that she was just like, she wasn't even doing a bit. She felt the need to tell us. It's so funny. She must be having a laugh though. It must be quite funny going out with me, right? Yeah, sure, yeah. I can see, times in your relationship, I mean, I know you do, when
there's just things about you where your partner loves 100% of who you are, and you know that's they take the good with the bad, and hopefully and realistically all the positives outweigh the negatives. But whenever you do one of your bad habits, or whenever you have a lapse in judgment or something, or a slight character flaw, they don't say it to you because they're not like, oh, this thing you do fucking annoys me, or this way. But they don't do that because they know it make you feel bad. But they can't fully hide it in their face and or tone.
Yeah. There was a bit of that, like...
Yeah.
There was a bit of that.
So, Cara's one at the moment, and I feel bad about it because when you're in a relationship and when you're being parents, if you lack in something, whether it's discipline or whether it's affection or whether it's ability to do something, you create a void that your partner has to fill, right? And that can be very unfair in relationships. Like if you're the lenient parent, that you're making the other one have to be strict, and that's not fair because then you're the fun parent and they're the bastard.
And if you're relaxed with your admin, the other one has to do the paperwork.
Yes, it's
if
not,
you're untidy, somebody has to tidy.
They
up.
have to tidy up more.
Yeah.
Now, there's stuff in our relationship that I certainly do more of the cleaning in the house, but that's because Cara does.
That's my small weight in the scale as well.
Yes,
Like I'll do this bit.
Yeah.
And the scales don't move.
Yeah, it's me doing Caelan's nappy compared to her getting him to sleep and breastfeeding him. Like I'm just like, no complaints. I'm trying to fill the massive gap you've left because you're doing all these other things, and I'm trying to fill this. We're doing the baby-led weaning with Caelan, which is a terrifying but correct concept. Like our grandparents cannot fathom what we're doing because there was this generation of adults who just decided to puree everything, despite the fact that, you know, when we were kids.
And that's a baby food, pure.
Yeah. And that's how you, and that's what, and this is the same generation that complained about a generation of picky eaters. And you're like, yeah, because you didn't introduce us to textures until we were 5 years old. Like, it's, as always with the older generations, everything you hate about the younger generation is something you fucking created. You left the void, we fucking filled it.
You hit them, you picked them up and hit a man with them while they were skiing. Skiing. So ice skating.
With the baby led weight, you give them full bits of food. You obviously steam them so they're softened down, but it's very fun to watch your kid discover food and like things and try things that we don't, because we don't want our kid to be as picky eaters as we are. We hate the fact that we're picky eaters. It's something I try and change myself in every day, but 30 years of learned behaviour is kind of hard to override. So
do you reckon that's why people that come from a bit more hardship aren't picky eaters, because they
didn't have the opportunity?
They didn't have these middle class fad baby eating concepts.
Well, so this one is this is the way I assume kids were introduced to a while ago, which is whatever you eat, you give it to your kid. And kids have really good gag reflexes. So the thing that the health visitor says to us before we started it is, if their face goes red while they're eating, that's good. That's them gagging on
It's going to be so funny when in 30 years' time you realise you got this wrong and like your baby just loves choking now. Caelan dies of autoerotic asphyxiation when he's 30, and you're like, what could it have been?
Well, man, I do worry about it, because at the moment, man, he loves, like, when I pretend to eat his feet, right, which I do regularly.
Paul Scholes.
Am I creating a pervert? Like, am I biting his little toes, and then in the fucking future when he starts having sex at whatever age, he's just like, so like a girl or a guy or fucking whatever puts his toes in his mouth and he goes, oh God, I really like that.
Nah, you created a foot fetish. Because Daddy used to do it.
Yeah. And then daddy issues. I know gagging is fine, right? Because their windpipes are about the size of a fucking straw. Like, gagging just gets to the back and then they go, and then it comes out and their face goes red. If their face goes blue, that's when something's caught in the windpipe.
I don't know.
Even though I've had that explained to me several fucking times, and even though I've seen Caelan gag on food several times, every time it fucking happens, I become...
Say goodbye to him.
No, my instinct isn't run and slap my baby's back. I get fucking flappy hand and I go, Cara, Cara! And she's like, stop freaking out in front of him.
Yeah, this is your pet hate.
Yeah.
And you're doing your own pet hate.
Oh, but I thought I would be the strong one in this relationship. I thought I would be the one that being like, no, like, this is the way he does it, and if he cries and he's upset...
Cry me a river.
Yeah. We got to get through it. It's a baby, doesn't matter. Whereas she's just like... She's like, leave the room. For the love of... I want to watch my son eat. She's like, you can't. If your reaction to your child going through a perfectly normal thing is... like a penguin trying to fly. Oh, there's a lion on his way. I'll get him. Like, I'm like, surely my paternal instinct should be much stronger than fly away. Like moths, the things I hate most about. That's what I do an impression of.
It's good when you find out your gut reaction is one of an absolute coward.
Yeah.
Like in Hawaii when we're doing the zip line tour.
Yeah.
But like to get between zip lines, you have to go through the little bit of jungle or whatever, and he's talking about how there's warthogs.
Yeah.
So be careful about them. Like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because the mum's just given birth and they're super territorial and very defensive.
Yeah, like we're in Hawaii. That's not how with. And then he comes in the woods, rattles some bushes and goes... I fucking dived behind my brother-in-law. Dived behind him like, Alex, no!
And he was just like, what's happening? Are you scared of the man making very bad warthog noises?
Yeah, I'd say I'm just playing along. It was very funny. I was doing a bit.
Aye.
Like literally the only brown person there as well. And like my wife was also there, but
yeah.
she's the whitest brown person.
Yeah. And we don't consider her a person.
I know brown or white. I know browner white people than my wife, but that's because I'm from Blythe.
Yeah. That's the fucking.
We've all been on Neon Beach. So, your baby choking. That was.
I wish reaction. I was because it's the same thing that happens as well, where, like when it comes to bedtime, Cara's right in all of these things. Her approach is what, before Kaelin came into the world, she is what I thought I was going to be, which is logical, still empathetic, but I really put the pathetic in empathetic. Like when we're sitting down watching something and the monitor's on, if he cries, I fly upstairs instantly because all I want to do is go up, put his white noise machine back on, put the dummy in his mouth, fine. Whereas her thing, which is the correct thing, is he has to learn to self-soothe. If he's winding himself up and he's clearly pissed his pants or he's starving or he's just in so much fucking distress, but that... We got to give him 2 or 3 minutes, and fucking, I swear to God, for somebody who's so obsessed with being on time, my perception of time fully fucking violates. Because when he's choking, I'm like, he's been choking for 17 minutes, Cara. She's like, it's the first thing he's put in his mouth.
Yeah.
He cries for like 6 seconds, and I'm like, what? We're just gonna let him get depression up there, are we? She's like, he's absolutely fine. And sure enough, by the time I get upstairs, he's self-soothed to sleep.
Yeah, and you think you're doing lasting damage by leaving him when actually it's like important learning.
No, yeah, all the lasting damage I'm just doing on myself.
Yeah, true. So we've got a friend who's got a baby the same age as Kaelin, and they're going through the same thing. And he's like, they're trying to get him to feed himself, right? And he'll only do it when they feed him. So she was like, I'll leave the room so he can't see us and just watch him through like the corner of the glass on the door. And she was like, so Natalie's telling us this. So she's like, so Lincoln, like, look and run for someone to feed him. And then it was like, no one's here. I'll do it. But he'll not do that when she's there. But Natalie was telling me this like a fable that I could learn from. And I'm like, oh yeah, right, that's there's a message in this that I need to pick up.
Aye, it's
like, I don't know, where you just like, as Natalie's got the fucking meal plan with all the stuff that she'll cook it out, everything. If she was away for the weekend, I'd be like, well, I'm hungry, I'll have waffles.
All right, donkey.
Donkey.
And in the morning I'm making waffles.
What's that off Shrek?
Aye.
Is it?
Aye.
What my favourite film.
Before we end this one, then go on to the Patreon episode. How do you feel the Fringe went?
I loved it, mate. I never got in thinking, like, I never got in with expectations from, like, external locus of control. You know, like, what other people are going to do for you? Who's going to come into your show that can change your career? What like, journalists are going to say that are going to change the public opinion on, like, fucking what you're doing, like, to take it up to the next level. I'll just, like, internal locus of control. And as far as everything that I've got a grip on, like, everything went well. Everything that I could do went well. Like, as far as, like, getting people who know who I am already to come to my show, to put on the best show I can possibly put on, fucking the timing of it. Like, I'd done everything that I needed to do right, and I can walk away and pat myself on the back and say you've had a good Fringe. But I can see the absolute fucking fallout for people who had high expectations on their external locus of control, and I'd hate to be in that headspace.
When you to leave your happiness up to other people, which, to be fair, is something that all comedians are guilty of, because, man, that is where we get our happiness from. The approval of roomfuls of strangers. But then, obviously, when the festival's there, it goes beyond that. It's not just about the people that are there in the show. You suddenly then put it onto the people that haven't come to the show. You suddenly put it onto these...
I'd say kicking off with a room with 12 people in because there's empty seats, and you're like, they're not the people, they're the exact opposite people that you should be mad at. They're the people that you should be fucking supremely grateful for, and go out and give them the best show you could possibly give them, and fucking leave the rest of the baggage in the back green room.
Like Robin Granger did to the one person he played with. I really enjoyed it. I've, to the point where I don't know if I'll ever do a full festival run again.
Because you quite enjoyed the... Oh, mate, you know what? Just taking the Mondays off was golden.
Mondays and Tuesdays off. And also next year, because of the way touring there works, is I'll just be doing the fucking Playhouse next year. And then the Fringe after that might still be on the same tour. So, who knows where it goes. There were holes in the show. Not necessarily holes, but bits where, where I'm just trying to fucking get it into shape. And there was definitely, in the final week, I think I had like 3 or 4... not bad shows, but bad shows for me. For me, anything, like, I would record the set, and the second I walked off stage, I would write Fringe, 12, great, 8 out of 10. And the next day, I'm like, Fringe, 13, fine, 7 out of 10. Anything less than my perception of what a fucking 7 out of 10 gig is a failure to me. Like,
you didn't want them.
Nah, it's got, but you're allowed 1 or 2.
Yeah, don't drop your threshold of satisfaction doing to 7 out of 10, otherwise you're gonna really fucking stagnate.
And I know it's a work in progress, and that's the thing Cara kept reminding me. She's like, it's a work in progress. It's
7 out of 10, like, or less, should have some external locus of control things that went wrong.
And what book did you read recently where you learned locus of control?
I don't know, whatever Natalie just read. Whatever the fuck Natalie just read.
Because you've dropped it into conversation 5 times. And I'll be honest with you, for the first 2 I was like, the fuck is a locus of control? Like a Zen grasshopper? Like
locus.
Spell it.
Locus.
What's it mean, Matthew? Alright. So I was, because I've done...
Hello?
It's locus of control is how much individuals perceive that they themselves have control over their own actions, as opposed to events in life occurring instead because of external forces.
We've got a lot of people around with that, like, blame everything except themselves. And it's just making sure you don't be like that.
Oh, so you're in control of your own happiness to... Well, I mean...
just like, if you're doing everything you can do, then be happy with that.
If you're doing...
Don't let everything that all the outside fucking noise, like, get in.
Completely deny. So I was getting a bit in my own head just because it wasn't going as well as I wanted to. I wasn't doing as much writing as I thought I'd do as well. I thought, like, I'd come home and be like, oh, I'll edit the fucking show, and then I didn't because my son's here, and obviously I want to just hang out with my son, and I want to just chill and see other people during the Fringe. Ended up, obviously, so much of the show's like dad stuff, and even though I said I didn't want to do dad stuff, I acknowledge that within the show. But it just felt like, I mean, there's no ending yet, and I know there doesn't have to be a big ending, but I always do like there to be some sort of through line and for it all to connect together. And I wasn't really finding that thing that really makes it click until I received this message, which has wound Cara up to absolutely fucking no end. I don't think this is a spoiler for the show too much. A
message just off a punter, off a fan?
Yeah, off a fan, yep. Who came to the show, and I think it was in one of the shows where I think I mentioned it. Somebody collapsed. Basically, they're fine. They've messaged. They're all good. They're all safe, and they've got tickets to an upcoming show. So I've got obviously a bit of my show about how hard. I mean, people who listened to the podcast when it was just me smoking weed after Kaelin was born, a whole bunch of those thoughts have obviously made their way into the show because I found them quite funny, and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't realise that was my opinion. I've turned it into material. I'm sorry if it feels repetitive, but that is my writing process. And if you don't want it to be rude in the future, don't listen to the podcast.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like a few people, I got a message off someone saying that I thought the Fringe was meant to be new stuff. I haven't done the Fringe since 2018. Everything was new, right? There was one bit in that I totally fucking changed to fit. That was from 2014, right? But it totally fit in with the Black Lives Matter stuff, right? And I was like, oh, this like works so much better now, and it actually has callbacks and other things, right? I guarantee anybody's seen or remembers me 2014 show that was barely attended, right? So it's totally safe to put this like 3-minute bit in. Everything else was brand new, and somebody messaged and I've like seen half an hour of that before. I thought it was meant to be new stuff. And you're like, oh, you've either listened to the podcast and heard the ideas being born before they got fucking polished and repurposed and put out on the stage, or they might have seen us opening on you for tour.
Aye. Well, I guess look, it's fucking fair criticism. Anyone who's like to me, like I heard some of the stuff on the podcast, I'm like, yeah, you did, because that's where those ideas were born, and they were funny then. I still think they're funny.
I like to think I give them like a new like thing for you to enjoy from it.
So I've obviously got a bit about how difficult childbirth is. If you don't want any spoilers for my show, turn off the podcast now, because it will be ending after this anyway. We'll see you at the Patreon one. I've got a lot of stuff about how traumatic childbirth is for men, because obviously that's a funny opinion to have.
Yeah.
As an aside, I don't know whether you can pass over to Daniel. I work as a midwife, and while I was aware of the unspoken trauma men can be exposed to in the birthing room, I was blown away by the extent to which an entire audience of men related to Daniel's words. I know it probably doesn't mean very much, but I've promised myself from now on to double the effort to ensure that the partners in my rooms are looked after and checked in with. Cara was seething.
Oh man, I hope if I have kids I end up in her ward, like I'll be like, can I have a nice lolly?
You know how the dentists give out stickers? I just think it'd be a real nice idea if you also gave stickers to all the other big brave boys like me.
Nah, because your bit is the hopefully everybody that doesn't want spoilers to turn it off. It's the bit like where you've been wounded at war, but like there's someone more wounded than you by miles. Like they've lost all their legs.
Women's trauma is much more, but because of this, you know what. But it's really, really difficult to watch the person that you love with all of your heart almost die. Like, what's worse? Who's it worse for? The person with dementia or the person that has to watch their loved one get dementia? I'm sure it's shit there, but what, you know.
But you know what, like, there is like just because they're going through something less doesn't mean they're not going through something. Mm-hmm. So maybe the midwife is right at a point where you're like, this is the point where we're getting woke.
but also woke towards men, and that's the bit that I think Cara's like. And I said to Cara, I'm like, love, sweetheart, doll, you got to remember, I did X for the ladies. Now it's a show for the blokes. I fixed that. Now it's time to fucking fix this. Thank you very, Chloe. If you listen to this podcast, thank you very much for that compliment, because it put the wind back in my sails.
Well, we're not making fun of you.
No.
Really
You're right, and I am right, and I'm glad the show is having some sort of external profound effect, because that's always the benefits of doing these shows, and suddenly going, oh wow, okay, people do listen, and sometimes it isn't just. I mean, it's just fucking stupid jokes, but if people can take more from your art than you intended there to be, then it makes you look good.
That's quite nice. If like there's something that you didn't put in there, but they take from it, you're going, oh, that's yours.
Yeah.
That's not mine. You take from it what you need.
But also the amount of comments I get from fucking fathers after the show who are just like, brother. Yeah. Oh, right. Well, thank you very much. To all the people that came to the Perth show and fucking stood through the fire alarm. Thanks to everyone who came to the Fringe. And as always, thank you for listening to this stupid fucking podcast.
And we're getting back on tour now, so check his website and we'll come to wherever you are.
Oh yeah, New York people. I'm doing 2 weeks there, but more. I'm doing like, I think 18 shows. They're not sold out yet, so come and see those and tell your friends to come and see them.
And while you're doing that, I'm opening for Doug Stanhope on a day. I'm going to go and do some Punch Drunk gigs in Blythe and Ashington. I'm going to be at the Comedy Store in London, Hot Water in Liverpool, and this weekend, when does this go out? You might have missed it, Glee in Glasgow.
Aye.
But I have...
Thursday. Next Thursday.
All right, you've missed that, but you can you can come see us at Liverpool or London.